Hi folks, my name is Pat Gage with the Block G Group, and in this video here, this is a recording of a commercial real estate investing mastermind we hold bi-weekly. So I hope you enjoy it, and at the end we'll show you how to join and join in with us on these calls. And again, like I said, they're bi-weekly, so please join us, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. How you doing, Dave?
Hey Pat, how you doing?
Good, real good. Hartford, how you doing, sir? Hopefully everybody's enjoying the 60-degree weather here in Michigan. Kind of shocking, isn't it? After a couple of days ago, it was snowing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, certainly good.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Crazy. We'll give it a couple other minutes, couple more minutes here. Hey, Hartford, how you doing, sir? You're on unmute now. That's good.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Enjoying the fact that it's like 60 degrees today.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, but because it
Yeah,
was just 30
it is.
2 days ago.
It's like, what's around the corner, right? It's like, oh
Right.
my God.
It's just a pile of snow just waiting to fall.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be like 60 degrees tonight or this weekend too. So
Yeah, that's what the weather
we'll
says.
see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. Well, we can kind of get started here. Let's see. Jeff, how you doing, Jeff? Haven't seen you. Can you kind of give us you're new? Can you give us kind of an intro of what you're doing and where you're calling from? And he hasn't found the unmute. There he is. Hi, Jeff. All right. Well, does anybody have anything that they would like to talk about? Any deals you're working on? How's your thing going, Hartford?
Actually, it's actually, you got two things. And the first thing is, yeah, that place and how it's. I met with the owner
Okay.
Saturday. First time meeting with them. They just wanted to get a feel for who my brother were, and just see if we were legit, because everything had been via email and over the phone, because the owner lives in Arkansas. So and the building is it's her baby. That's what she said. So she's it's close to her heart. So she wanted to make sure that she was dealing with somebody who wasn't going to do anything crazy. And I got to meet we got to meet one of the tenants and one of the owners of one of the commercial units. So that was cool. And we got to walk in one of the units, and we walked in both of the commercial units to get an idea of, what was going on in there. So that was
Now
cool.
they're
And
both occupied, right? The commercial units are both occupied, right?
correct, both the commercial units are occupied. I don't know. One of the residential units is temporarily occupied. When we originally started talking, well, at least they gave me the impression that it was 100% occupied for the residential side. But she told me that one of them was temporary. The guy is in transition and looking to move out. So
Okay.
it's not weird. But anyway, so that was good. And then I reached out to I think his name was Justin, the guy that you and David referred to me.
Property manager.
He was, yeah, and he was very nice, and he gave me a lot of insight about this property in Lansing. So yeah, so that was very helpful. So those are two things that's been going on.
That's cool. That's a lot, man. That's good. So how'd you leave it with the owner? Just because was it there? She's going to do seller financing, right? You just got to
Yes.
figure out like what she would take, and kind of this is kind of a feeling out session, lack of a better.
Right. So I mean, we're still uh, talking about 2 years, interest only at 4% and 20% down. What I'm doing now is I'm getting the contract together for her.
Cool.
and then she's going to, look it over with her lawyer, and then, hopefully we can start the due diligence soon. At first, she wanted to wait until the first of the year for tax reasons, but she sent me an email last night saying that she found something out where she doesn't have to wait till the beginning of the year. So,
Well, that's cool.
yeah, so yeah, we'll see. And I just found out last night doing research that the building 2 doors down just sold in September for $800,000, where she's selling it for $765. But doing the NOI method, it's worth probably $80,000-$90,000 more. And then just by raising, because everything's under, she doesn't have the rents at market rates.
Okay.
So even just raising them a little bit and not even getting them to market rates, it really increased the value of the building even more. So.
Now, is that one down the street, is it the same kind of layout where it's got residential on top?
It looks like, it's literally on the same block. It's the same structure. It looks like maybe it looks like it has a 3rd floor to it, just looking at the picture.
Okay.
But when we went Saturday, she literally showed me that building. It used to be a firehouse. It used to be a fire station.
Oh, okay.
And she was telling me, yeah, this used to be a fire station. And then I went online to see, look at comps in the area just to check what's been sold. And it was that building. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. We were looking at that building. So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Good luck with that, man. That's good. Keep us posted. That's,
yeah, thanks.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Awesome. How about you, David? Anything?
One of those properties we were looking at over near Kalamazoo, got an offer accepted there.
Wow, cool.
Kind of revising the purchase agreement, but that should be going under contract soon.
Cool. Now, how many units was that?
This one is 41 units.
Okay.
So what's funny with this one was this one property we're getting under contract that's part of a 4-property portfolio that we actually looked at back in August. I think we were only looking at a couple of the 2 out of the 4, but someone put an offer on the whole thing, went under contract, we lost it. But that apparently fell through, and we're taking another run at it.
Cool. That's great.
It's coming along pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yep.
Welcome, Avery. How you doing? You're on mute.
Okay, sorry.
That's
Sorry,
it.
I'm late.
Everybody forgets that and they just start talking. You're like, okay, hang on.
I know my noise is on mute when I log in, but good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do? Because I know what you do, but
Hey,
nobody else does.
my name is Avery Piantadosi, and I am the Commercial Division Director for Maxbrook Realtors in Birmingham. But I basically do commercial deals in the Tri-County area, and I do a lot of multifamily deals as well. So, yep, that's me. And I was an investor for a long time and had commercial properties and stuff and got rid of everything. So.
We tend to do that every now and then. Then we just get rid of it and then we gather it back. Well, that's good. Well, thank you for joining. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right. Derek, I see that you joined. Can you give us a 36 second intro there and kind of tell everybody who you are?
Hey guys, hey, can you hear me?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
All right. I literally just hopped on, so I didn't hear any of the preface there. So you guys were given a 30-second intro.
Yeah, what you're doing and stuff. We've got a couple new people tonight, which is nice. So yeah, just give me an idea what you're doing. Kind of, it's kind of a free-for-all, just kind of what you're doing, where you're looking. You own properties now. What are you looking for? What can the group help you with? Stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. Well, my name's Derek Wisner. I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I'm not even sure how I stumbled upon this group, to be honest with you. I'm an investor and a property owner, and I'm a realtor, and a business owner. I've been kind of passively investing in real estate for about 20 years now. I started with student rentals when I was a student, and sold. I had 6 houses, and then sold my interests to my partner. When I got married, we built a business about 17 years ago. We sell bridal dresses and prom dresses, Memories Bridal and Evening Wear in Kalamazoo. I own the real estate that houses that property. I also own a large building that I leased to a adult day services facility. It was a former bank, but it's their operation. They have several physicians that work out of it. They do day services with seniors. And they have their administrative headquarters in that building as well. That I redeveloped that about 3 years ago. Just bought a couple banks, bank properties, like literally retail bank facilities. Sold, have one under contract of closing in a couple weeks here to another bank, and I'm trying to find a bank tenant right now for another property I have.
These are actually banks, right? These are
Yes. So they're literally banks. It always gets confusing because I'm buying banks, and actually these 2 banks were foreclosures, but I was buying them from a private equity group. So there were banks that didn't have banks in them that I was buying from a private equity group, and now I'm trying to find a retail bank to go into one.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of just a complicated word salad there.
But now the private equity, not to stop your story, but so the private equity bought it from...
Oh, no, actually it's even more complicated than that. The banks were actually, I don't know how much detail you really want. There was about 120, there was a portfolio of about 120 Citizens banks that were owned by a REIT out of New England. That REIT had financed all of these properties through a private equity group out of Miami. The REIT somehow went under, and the properties were all foreclosed. So I actually bought these 2 properties under foreclosure, or after they were foreclosed by the REIT, or I'm sorry, not by the REIT, by the private equity group. So anyways, that's the kind of complicated story with that one. And then I also facilitate some real estate transactions on the side. I'm not very public, I guess, about it. Kind of just do more on my own and some with some friends of mine. So I have a buddy right now. I'm facilitating a multifamily in Calumet right now, and I'm hoping he's going to bite on another one here that I'm presenting right now. So we'll see. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So
Wow.
I was looking for deals.
Now, did you find the deals from the bank, the equity, through your realtor connection? Is that how you kind of found it?
No, to be honest with you, that one, I've been chasing that one for about 5-6 years now. It's actually the building next to my wife's bridal shop.
Oh, okay.
And so we wanted to own that building, so we've been chasing that one forever now. And it finally, so I've been literally hounding the private equity group now for years. And they finally said yes about the week before COVID hit. So we had to have a real gut check and see if we really wanted this thing. So it's kind of been tough, but I'm confident long term it'll have been the right move. I hope, but you can't.
Now, is it a building where you're going to plan to expand your wife's business into, or is this something different?
No, it's just a parcel I like strategically within the downtown, and it's we're not expanding our business into it, but it's I don't know, it's just a property I like, and it has some strategic interests, and I just wanted it. So
Cool. Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. So now on the realtor side, are you commercial or
I am
residential?
commercial, all commercial. Yep. So
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well, that's great. And you're in Kalamazoo, right? That's your.
I am. Yep. I was working out of downtown Kalamazoo for quite a long time, and I just actually moved home recently here, back to my house. I had 3 young children, and it was getting kind of silly to to be working downtown. So I actually gave up my office, and I'm working from home now. So
Much like the rest of us are doing.
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
On the occasion, venturing out to the store, and or if you have to go to
Yes.
the office, it's.
Yes. So, and I also, I'm also an investor in quite a few large syndications across the country. So
Okay.
I like to invest in syndicated deals. So I'm actually looking at getting into syndication myself as well. So when I said a buddy of mine was buying a deal in Calumet, he syndicates those, and he this is probably his. Oh, he's probably done about a dozen of them so far. So he's got a group of investors.
How big of syndication is that one he's looking at? How many units?
Well, the one that we're closing, or one that he's closing on in a couple weeks here, it's what is it? It's a 12 unit. What I just presenting him right now is a 71 unit. So it's quite a big jump. But he's got portfolio somewhere around 12 is probably the smallest. Probably between 12 and 100 units for each piece. And like I said, he's got about a dozen of them. So we'll see. But I'm still learning that process. It's not something I'm ready to jump into at this point as a sponsor, but kind of watching how he's doing this, and learning, and maybe partnering with him at some point to learn more and more about it. So
That's good. That's what we're all doing here too. That's what we're all doing, that type of thing too, syndication, and trying to learn all the steps and processes to that, because it is different compared to just raising private equity and having your friends and family into it. Is it going to be 506C? Is it going to be 506B? You can advertise, all that kind of stuff, and all the legal stuff that comes with it. Well, that's good. Well, that's good. You're welcome.
yeah, thank you.
Enjoy your information. That's awesome. How about Jeff? Jeff, we tried Jeff earlier. Let's see if he can maybe unmute. I don't know. It's gonna lay it. There he is. You're unmuted on my screen, but we can't hear you, Jeff. I don't think I have to do anything on my side. Let me make sure that I haven't, I'm not the one blocking everybody. No, I'm not. Okay. How about Demontre? I know you and I have talked. Can you give us a 30-second introduction?
Sure. So let me turn on my video if don't know how good of a light here. Can you see me there on the?
No, a little dark, but that's okay.
Okay, there's probably some issue with my laptop camera. So I'm sitting on my kitchen table here. Introduction about me is I'm just newly getting into this real estate investment. And a couple of months before, I was browsing on the Meetup and came across Pat, your group. So I joined and attended the first Meetup, and thereby you started talking about the multifamily investment. So I'm learning how this investment all goes about, and we are actively pursuing one opportunity together. So I'm excited about that. So
that's cool. That's cool. Well,
besides that, I'm not in the real estate. I just have a regular job, and I'm a W-2 person, as you guys call it.
That's okay. That's okay. Everybody's welcome, right? Because we can all learn from each other, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate the introduction.
Thank you.
All right. Does Jeff want it? We want to try Jeff again? Probably not. Does anybody have anything that they're, let's say, struggling with, want to talk about? What you can do is also, with that, you can put your contact information in the chat, so everyone would have it there. And then we can, I'm doing that at the same time. I'm multitasking, but it's not working well for me, so.
So if I may just add here.
Sure, go right ahead.
I would like to put in my contact information, and if anybody is new or experienced and want to guide me the things that I have to look out for to make sure I don't make errors or mistakes, I'll welcome those kind of suggestions. Obviously, Pat, I'm getting all that from you, but if I can hear from more individuals, more the merrier.
Definitely, exactly, and that's a great question. Obviously, I don't know everything. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I try not to be the smartest guy in the room. And yeah, you should look around and ask questions, because there's two people here on this call, Avery and Derek, are a lot more experienced than I do from a different side, right? I've been an investor. I'm not a realtor, I'm not a broker, but I've been an investor, residential as well as a couple commercials. But these two have more experience on that side too. So yeah, I should always ask for different questions, different, because maybe somebody have a different idea, different thought. And that's why I put this together, is a mastermind where we come together and ask those kind of questions and see one or two different answers, so we can kind of put them all together and say, okay, hey, great, that makes sense, or wow, my gut feeling was it didn't work. So that's the reason why I formed this meetup. Initially, it was formed, we were meeting at a local college here, Schoolcraft College, and then COVID hit, and then obviously we had to disperse from meeting in person, but the Zoom, I believe, works out better. I'm able to, reach out to more people. People are able to attend. I found that at the college that people were having a tough time getting there by 7. They wanted to do it at 9. I'm like, it's a little late. So this works out really good, having this kind of dialogue, or this kind of log on real quick and move on. So awesome. I see that.
Derek, I just found you on LinkedIn, so I might send you an invite there.
All right, that's good. Yes, please do connect with me on LinkedIn, definitely. Hello, Mr. Pat Winter. What's going on, sir? Why don't you give us we're all giving 30-second intros, if you don't mind.
Yes, Pat. Good to be here. I'm a little bit late, but I want to chime in.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We're just kind of hanging out and just talking. We're just doing the 30-second intro. If you could just intro what you are, what you're looking for, what you're doing, and see how we can help you.
Just looking for multifamily investments that you might come across. I know we talked about some last week. That big group out of Georgia, I guess, a big project in Georgia.
Yep.
Just trying to learn more about the multifamily world.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, in fact, I got to that, dovetailing on what you just said, got a webinar invite to that for, I believe, tomorrow. So, and I also shot Brian an email. I CC'd you on it as well. What we did last week was...
I haven't heard from Brian, but I'm hoping he's going to get on tomorrow.
Yeah, let's hope so. And that was what Pat's referring to is there's a group, Four Oaks Capital. The partners are located in West Virginia and Georgia. They have 167 units that they're syndicating, and I'm trying to raise some money for it, and working with the GPs and the underwriters. So I presented that to the group here, and that's one I sent to you as well, Avery. And though that information there was kind of preliminary because it was before the marketing package and stuff, and actually they just finished due diligence on it when I got that information, so I got it out as fast as I could. So what we're doing is we're talking to Brian, which is a local attorney that has some clients that may be interested in it. So we did a webinar with him, and he asked a lot of questions, and a lot of good questions, where I had the underwriter who actually underwrote the deal on the phone or on the Zoom call, just like this, because I knew a lot of the questions I probably didn't have the answer to. So, which was good that I did have the underwriter on there because Brian asked some detailed questions that I just wouldn't have the answer to, and then we'd spend weeks and weeks trying to track down the answers. So it worked out. We're just waiting now to see if Brian's going to do something, and he's got to go talk to his clients. So it's kind of that waiting period. And as everybody knows, everybody wants to do it, but when they have to write the check, it's a little bit different, and you got to think about it, and which is okay. And that's why I tried to get it out as soon as I possibly could, and get everybody enough time. So they're looking at closing on that in December sometime. So have some time, but they want to still get commitments and get, see where they're at as far as lining up stuff. So, but thank you, Pat. I appreciate that. Anybody else got anything? Nothing. I know, David, you're working on a deal, which is good. Derek, now is that the bank's properties? Is that closing soon, or is that you're still trying to wrap that up?
Well, so what happened was I purchased the two bank buildings. Again, I'm trying to be clear about what these are. There are buildings that, clearly look like banks. They have drive-throughs and whatnot, but they are not occupied. They were most recently occupied by Citizen One Bank, or I'm sorry, Charter One Bank.
Now, did they own them, or did they just lease them? Because it would seem to me
they had a 15-year lease that expired in was due to expire in 2021. And they pulled out of the Kalamazoo market about 5 or 6 years ago, but they stayed in Metro Detroit area, Toledo, all those other areas and whatnot. So and they were on triple net leases. So they basically continued to pay rent for the last 6 years on these empty buildings.
Wow. I mean, I bank at Citizens, so that's why I'm going to go in tomorrow to my branch and say, hey, I want some interest back because you clowns have just wasted, really, because they pulled out of Kalamazoo and just.
There was 3 properties. One of them they were able to sublease to a Huntington bank. The other 2 sat dark for years. So like I said, I've been trying to buy it now for years. Because it's just been this dark building next to our shop, and they wanted nothing to do with me. One, because they were getting excellent rent, and it's a secured asset by the bank, so they didn't care. The bank wanted out, but they couldn't because they were over a barrel with the other 120 properties they were in. And somehow, I don't know how this happens, but somehow that REIT went under. So how that happens, I have no clue, but it did. So once it went under.
How do you value something like that that's really kind of, I know how to value, like, let's say, strip mall or a multifamily. How do you value something that's really kind of got one particular tenant?
Well, I'm hoping it doesn't have one particular tenant. I'm hoping to reimagine this building. So, we'll see. So, it may be a bit. So anyway, so we ended up buying we ended up buying 2 parcels. So basically my pitch to the private equity group was, so they took back, I'm condensing 5+ years of activity into, try not to make it too long, but my pitch was essentially, hey, you got 120 properties here that you're looking to unload. The ones in Kalamazoo are unique. They're dark. The other ones, the ones in Metro Detroit area, the ones where you bank at, whatnot, those are a completely different asset. They have an operating Citizens Bank in them with a lease. The Those leases, I'm sure, are extending. They've extended those leases before they sell those and put those out to market. You're going to get a much different investor for those properties. Cut the dark ones loose. Let me buy them from you, and then sell those other ones to your, to your institutional investor. It's going to take buy it at like a whatever 5 cap or whatnot. I'm not paying that on a dark building, obviously.
They were still getting money, right? They were still getting, Citizens Bank was still cutting them a check every month. So your offer had to be pretty good for them.
Well, they eventually settled on a buyout. So they eventually did buy out, and that lease terminated June of this year.
Okay.
So the lease went through, they terminated a year early. It was supposed to end in June of 2021. So anyways, so I ended up purchasing the 2 properties, the one here in Kalamazoo and one in Otsego, which is a little community just north of us here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really want the one in Otsego, so I put that on the market, and I have that under contract to sell right now. So hopefully that'll, that should wrap up in the next, 10 to 14 days or so. We should be closing on that one. So I'll just have the Kalamazoo one. So the Kalamazoo one, then we're in the process of renovating. So we, put new parking in the back. That property, like I said, it's got some strategic interests for me. For example, there's a $150 million building. I'm sorry, $100 million building going in 25 yards behind the building.
Okay.
It's giant.
You get
it's
another
beautiful.
bank to take that on once you renovate it. Are you renovating it to put a bank in there, another bank?
Probably. That was the
Okay.
original intent. We were approached by a cannabis operator we got very close on, and that deal looks like it's going to fizzle out. We were approached by a restaurant that drive-through could make a really interesting outdoor seating area. It's an enclosed drive-through, but we're open. We're going to see. So in the meanwhile, we're kind of doing some things that we need to do to remediate the building. It's been maintained, but it does have some things that need to happen. I have some stucco work that started yesterday. We put in some new concrete, but like I said, the surrounding area is growing quickly. We have that beautiful building right behind us. They put in a ton of new infrastructure. All heated sidewalks and snow melt drive-through, which services mainly us, which is kind of crazy. We have 7 private parking spaces where you just don't have anywhere else downtown. So it's got not a lot of really nice amenities. We just need to find a tenant for it now, and
Gotcha.
We'll find one eventually here. So in the meanwhile, we're just kind of
Is the lot big enough to, let's say, demo and put another use tenant in there, or is that not?
No, it's a dense downtown. It's a 150-year-old building.
Okay.
Downtown Kalamazoo. So we wouldn't be able to demo it, but it doesn't need to be demoed. It's a structurally sound building. It's just we're in the middle of COVID, so
You're just finding that tenant. Yeah, I know there was a bank here in Livonia where I grew up that sat vacant for the same long time, and what they sold it to a cosmetic surgery group, and then they redid the drive-through awning. That actually became part of the building, and they took out the thing, but it was pretty cool how they did it. They made that an architectural feature, and they used obviously for parking, but it was pretty cool how they expanded it, and it doesn't even look like a bank now.
Right. I think anything that has short-term short-term parking needs or curbside pickup would be ideal for this space. Which cannabis would have been fantastic. With the kind of the curbside pickup piece of that. Especially right now in COVID, we're legal in Kalamazoo, and If you go down to another provisioning center here in Kalamazoo, people tap on their phone what they want, and somebody brings it out in a baggie, which is kind of interesting. So
I guess my thought is I'm going back in my head and going, okay, this guy, back to my high school days. I never did drugs, but some dude trying to drive his car, trying to get more dope through a drive-through, just got. I'm picturing something out of I don't know, something weird, but interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting.
They could serve Doritos and fries with that, and
it's in the tube. It's coming over, buddy. The Twinkies and the Doritos. That's true. Yeah. In fact, I was talking to one of my friends who actually has a lot of clients that are in the marijuana, which I didn't know. I was talking to him, and he says that they have such a problem now. He found one bank, which is a credit union, to accept their proceeds, even though it's legal. It's legal here in Michigan, or in this side, I guess, that these guys have so much cash that they have to get rid of, basically. I mean, they're looking for real estate, endeavors for that, to do that. So, but he was surprised. He's saying that these guys, they got, 400,000 or 500,000 any one time, just, sitting around. They need to move, because they can't go and put it into their bank and stuff like that. So that, and he's a lawyer / accountant, so he helps them with that. But it's pretty interesting how that he talked about that it's actually a problem that, I've seen documentaries on that on Netflix and stuff, how, they just can't run down to the bank and put it into your, Comerica account because
Federally still illegal.
I'm sorry.
It's because it's federally still illegal. That's why title companies can't issue title policies on buildings that they know are going for that use either. But it's funny you say that about a bank, because I actually had a couple guys that were successful in California who were looking for a spot around here, and they ended up buying a bank out in California, it was in California or Colorado. They bought literally a bank with a vault, like the old-fashioned vault, and that's where they keep all their money from the marijuana, because they can't, like what you're saying, you can't, what are you going to do with it? They literally keep it in that huge fireproof vault.
I mean, I guess that's the best. I guess here's a question, and I guess you brought up a great point, Avery, is as a syndicator, let's say this gentleman wants to invest in my property. How do I not protect, but how do I disclose that, or do I disclose that, right? Let's say, I buy a building or have a building under contract and they want to invest. Going back to what you said about the title company, yes, there'll be limited partners, right? Let's say he brings 400,000 in. Am I still able to go? And again, nobody's a lawyer in here. I'm not a lawyer either, but I'll have to ask him. But that gets a big point of it. If they've got so much cash that they've got to put into these, do they have to disclose that they're investing in, XYZ apartment building? And is that going to tip, me getting, or anybody getting a title commitment on a property they're buying?
Are you talking about like an investor that receives its proceeds by selling cannabis?
Yeah, like these gentlemen I was talking about, they generally, because he was going to pass the prospectus to these guys, and one guy he was just saying is, he's got 400,000, he wants to get into real estate. It's like, how do I, as a syndicator, or even, let's say I don't syndicate it, let's say we go in a joint venture with them, what is, obviously I'm not looking for legal advice, so I'm not going to take but I mean, I was thinking about this and what Avery said. I didn't even think about that side of the business. Is, will they say, where's this money come from? I don't think they will, but is that going to be an issue?
Yeah, it is an issue. It already is an issue.
Okay.
I mean, it's a huge issue. And from what I learned last year, I went to this seminar that had attorneys on the board who were talking about this issue. And then there were different people from different jurisdictions and different cities and how they were dealing it with it locally. But the attorney was like, it's federally illegal. So any business you enter into with it, any partnership, like you have to know that what you're doing, you're technically breaking the law, you're breaking federal law. That's why title companies cannot insure those buildings.
Wow.
Or those policies if people need title policies on the buildings but I mean, these people can buy the buildings, like it doesn't matter. Like there's so much money in cannabis because it's an amazing medicine that everybody should be using.
We're not advocating here anybody.
Hey, it's legal
I
in
will
Michigan.
But I use CBD oil. I swear by it. It works. But anyway, sorry, Avery.
I've used multiple cannabis products for a long time, and yeah, I swear by it. It's the only thing I ever take. I don't even take aspirin. But yeah, it's still very tricky. And I think anybody wanting, like if you had, Derek, if you had someone in that field who wanted to rent, I think you definitely should talk to an attorney who specializes in that, just to make sure you're covering your, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were, and the deal fell apart because for a couple of reasons. One was a zoning issue that we weren't able to get around. I tried really hard, but fortunately I have some conflicts of interest because I'm a planning commissioner. So I had to abstain for a lot of this stuff, but this actually fell through on Monday. Wednesday, so 2 days ago. But the other piece of this was, we already own the building, so that, but we would have to pay it off because we can't have a mortgage on the property.
Right.
Because of it's federally illegal, just like Avery was saying. Everything she's saying is exactly correct here. And so we obviously need to charge a higher premium or a higher rent to justify,
the capital outlay for paying off the mortgage. Yeah.
Exactly. So anyways, it gets complicated. I think it's going to get worked out in the fairly near future. I mean, it's got to. More and more states are legal. I think once we get this election behind us here and, Congress gets moving again, I think we'll get things worked out because it's silly to have, state legally, products that are legally eligible to sell and collect sales tax on,
Right.
that can't be banked.
Right.
Exactly.
0 cents. I don't use, cannabis. I have nothing against it, but I through this exploration, I have met lots of folks that are in the business, and I know folks that literally keep their money in 5-gallon buckets, and
I've heard that.
it's told me that essentially, this was a little while ago, but essentially they have grocery money forever.
Yeah.
They can't go invest it. It's like, and I have another guy I've been liquidating everything in that bank property, for example, and it had, I don't know, 4 or 5 vaults in that bank, including a walk-in vault. But those vaults, he's buying all of them because he grows medical marijuana at home.
Yeah.
And he wants it for his product, and he wants it for his cash.
Wow.
And it makes sense. So he bought all my vaults from me. And he's, picking them up tomorrow. But, again, it's a problem that
I kind of want to have that problem where I have money in a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah, you're like,
I just can't do anything with it. I don't know what the hell to do with this stuff. God.
It puts those people at risk, though, really, if you think about
absolutely.
it. Yeah. Unnecessary business risk when it was on the black market and it was illegal. That was understandable. But now that it's legitimized, quote unquote, I mean, it puts people at risk and that makes it more dangerous to engage in that. And it is ridiculous to be taxed on something on the local level or state level and then have it federally. They don't recognize it as legitimate funds. It's just stupid. So
I think it'll work itself out in the near future. But again, right now it is what it is.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good conversation. I mean, because I was, like I said, I just talked to him this week, and he brought that up. I'm like, wow, I never even thought about that. I'm like, how do you do this? And he's got one, like I said, one credit union that he's able to work with, and I don't know what the deal was, but they were able to find one that this guy was able to put, and what they're looking for to use, obviously I watch Netflix, like wash their money, right? They got to get it into some account so it's not in a 5-pound, bucket on your corner. That's what he's working towards. But he said it's been an uphill battle. It's just finding somebody. I mean, if you think about the logic, like, wow, the savings accounts are what, 0.002%, and here, they could probably deposit 500,000 in this person's bank that could, their performance just went, skyrocketed, right? But they can't, because of legitimacy. I don't know. That's wild. So we'll see.
The credit unions get away with it because they're owned by the community and they're not a federal institution. So I think a lot more credit unions are going to be probably coming forward. What was the zoning issue? Do you mind bringing that up? I think that might be something interesting to talk about.
Sure. So we, again, it's a long story, about 3 or 4 years in the making, but trying to make it short as possible. At the 11th hour, the city commission decided in their infinite wisdom to add a 500-foot buffer to playgrounds for these facilities. They already had a buffer between the different retailers and from child care centers and from daycare centers and from youth centers and whatnot, but they added playgrounds. I should take a step back. Kalamazoo also decided to do its zoning for cannabis for the city as a whole before they did the downtown, and that was because the downtown had some other zoning work that needed to be done first. So cannabis was actually legal for sale back in June, I believe, early summer. That was good to go, except for the downtown. So the downtown then has been kind of moving forward with the zoning process this last few months, and we had that playground provision that was carried over from the city. And I argued to have that playground distance dropped because downtown, I argued, is different. Whereas lots of these other neighborhoods are significantly larger than downtown, 4 or 5 times as large. 500. It was a 500-foot buffer. 500 feet in downtown isn't very far, and downtown Kalamazoo is very diverse. 500 feet, you completely change. You go from block to block very quickly. There's lots of different businesses. You can have a business that is a ballet studio and a restaurant and a climbing gym and a restaurant and a law office, all within 400 feet. Whereas you're not going to see that out in the suburbs or, the less dense neighborhoods. I wasn't able to argue that the city at the planning commission level, unfortunately, because I'm a planning commissioner, which sucked. And then by the time we got to the city, I just wasn't able to make the point, I suppose, or just didn't go through. So we do have a playground that was within 500 feet of this site, so it's not eligible at this point. So anyways, that's kind of where things are at right now.
Well, thank you for detailing that out, because that it sounds like a lot of work. I can see where it kind of was teetering there for a while.
Yeah, but that's real estate, right?
Not one thing, it's another, right? Wild. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. All righty. Anybody else got anything? Thank you for your assistance and help on these interesting concept, the marijuana thing. I'm still intrigued by it, but obviously it's a bigger fish than I'm sure I can fry. But I just thought that was interesting and intriguing. Anybody else got anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I would just I know I got everybody's contact information, but if
Yeah, please do put that in there, put
Yeah.
it into the chat, and then
and I got that. I was just wanting to say that if there is one or two volunteers want to communicate with me on the multifamily investment, just to bounce off some ideas, raise your hand and I will shoot you an email.
that sounds good. That sounds good. And also, we're having these meetups every other week.
Yeah.
So also in the invite, I'll put in there, we have a Facebook group. Let me see if I can get it real quick here. I forgot to bring that up. We have a Facebook group that mirrors this, so we're trying to build a community that way. You don't have to wait every other week to ask questions or do things, but I'll try to get that. Let me see if I can get it real quick here. Give me a second. The joys of having 2 or 3 screens here.
Avery, are you in the title work business?
No, I do commercial real estate brokerage. So I do it for Real Estate One, Max Brook. I'm there. So right now it's brokering, but I used to be an investor. So when I first got licensed about 20 years ago, I did it just solely for the purpose of being a real estate investor, and I would buy houses and flip and sell them, and then I had rental houses, and then I got into selling multifamily property and actually like big packages of homes for banks. So I did a lot of asset management for banks, and just really started my career as an investor, but also working with investors. And then I started a software company 6 years ago, but that's a whole nother like tangent. But
That's the next meetup. We'll go over that next time.
that's where all my money goes. The real estate is how I make my money. Make it all go away by having a software.
Not a Facebook yet, Avery? You got to be kidding.
Oh, any day now, Pat. Any day.
So you're strictly transactional right now?
Yeah, I don't buy anymore. I've been living in Florida for 8 years. I went down to Florida, opened a real estate brokerage down there, and had moved back here a year and a half ago. And basically sold everything, came back for family reasons too, but just kind of, it got boring living on an island. So, but
all
yeah.
That sun is never good for you. All that sun and good weather is not good for you. You need the 30 degree below zero, the snow.
I know. But yeah, I just do transactional right now. So I do a lot of listings, and I work with investors. I have like a pretty short list. Pat's one of them on the list. But people where I know what they want, and so I can present deals, a lot of off-market stuff to people who are serious. And you know, if I know what they're looking for, I can present that to them instead of listing it.
What geographical location? What area?
I do the Tri-County area mainly, but I get, so Real Estate One has offices all over the state, and I'm literally the only person right now who does commercial 100%. So I get all of the corporate leads through the entire company. So I'll get all kinds of stuff. So like if I know someone's geographic, like if you said, oh, I want stuff in Kalamazoo or whatever, I could, you know, I have a spreadsheet I could put you on there that when I get a lead there, I would actually take it if it's something I know that a buyer wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be interested in getting on your list.
Sure.
Multifamily.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I didn't realize that was you. I recognize you with the hat on.
And sorry, I missed the introductions. Is it possible to, Harper and David, could you tell me really quickly what you guys do again?
think Hartford, you're muted.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm on my tablet and for some reason I keep forgetting how to unmute. Hi, Avery. Well, with me, I'm currently looking at a building and how it's a mixed use. Met with the owners this past weekend and hope to be moving forward with that in the next week or two. And additionally, I'm looking at this apartment, 16 unit in Lansing. So basically, I'm an investor, a new investor to the commercial side. So it's a learning process for me. So
Cool.
Yep, and I live in St. Clair Shores. I've only been actively pursuing multifamily investing for a few months now, but I signed up for Michael Blanc's coaching program. So I'm actually working with a couple students out of there, and we got an offer accepted on one in Parchment near Kalamazoo.
Oh yeah, I bet I know.
Should be going under contract soon, and then the owners of that actually shared a couple other ones they want us to look at. So we're making some good progress.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. We should touch base. I think I'm familiar with the Parchment properties.
Hmm.
So.
What's good about that, what I really like about these properties is the property manager right now is Justin Hentman, who I've kind of been working with on the side as I kind of learn stuff. So, and it's fun working with him because he's super transparent on everything. Mm-hmm. Like I'll share a property with him, he'll tell us, point blank that it's not worth even looking at. So as we look at these properties, he'll let us know what to look out for, where all the bodies are buried type thing. So that's nice.
And are you syndicating these, or are you doing this with your own capital, or how does that? How you?
We're going to be syndicating. I was actually just looking at what we underwrote earlier. I think we're going to have to raise about $700,000 for the one in Parchment, and then I got to check where we're at on the other properties we're looking at. So yeah, things are looking good.
Yeah, keep us posted on that, David. That's
Definitely will.
That's awesome. Okay. I see that we had Pat left us. All right. Well, if you guys and gals don't have anything else, I don't want to keep you. I appreciate you joining. Thank you for the input. Again, make sure you put your contact information in the chat there, and then I'll get together and we'll get another invite out in the next week or two here for our next one, and we'll go from there. And thank you for everybody for joining. I appreciate it. And it was good seeing all of you, and we'll talk to you soon.
all right, thanks, guys. Good night. Good week.
Thank you very much.
Hi folks, Pat Gage again. I hope that you enjoyed what you just saw in the video. And if you want to join these calls, click on the link above my head. It's also in the description of the video, and register for these calls. They're every 2 weeks, and we have great content and great speakers come and talk to us about what the industry is and what it's doing and how they're finding deals or closing deals. Just a whole myriad of things. Again, it's the Commercial Real Estate Investing Mastermind, and it's built for you, and people just like you wanting to get into commercial real estate or into real estate and get the mastermind effect. Okay? Hope you enjoyed. Please click on the link here and in the description, and we'll see you on the next call. Thank you much.